offside.
Welcome back to another episode of No Offsides Weekly Update. Dan Dean here to update you on roller events that happened over the weekend. Right now, let's roll into it. Before we do, let's talk about some upcoming events, right? And so you have this weekend coming up, February 21st through 23rd. You have Winter Wars West. So good luck to everyone out there that's participating this upcoming weekend. Look forward to seeing some results. Now, coming up in March, which is not too that far away, right? You have USRC Winter Nationals. That is March 7th through 9th. Now, through this event, you have Youth Showcase and you have a College Showcase. And through that College Showcase, we will have the College Roller Foundation, which will hopefully award some collegiate players with some scholarships. Sounds great to me. So good luck to everyone. And let's jump into pretty much the big event that happened over the weekend, and that is PIHA Playoffs. Right? And so let's start with PIHA Semi-Pro. And we have the Keystone Division. And so in this Keystone Division, you have Propel MG versus Fusion Blizzard in the semifinal number one. Right? And so, Propel MG, had a stint. Every now and then they do pop up in the pro division in our North American circuit. But they take on the Fusion Blizzard, and overall, they take care of business in two games. They win 2-0. They win game 1 7-3. They win game 2 5-2, right? And so they go on to the Keystone Finals. Now in the second semifinal, we have the Marple Lebeda Gladiators. And so they took on the Philadelphia Barons. Now this series was a more interesting one, right? This went to 3 games. It flip-flopped at first in the first 2 games, and the third game was really close. And so, Marple Lebeda Gladiators take this series 2-1. They win the first game 4-2. Then the Philadelphia Barons take game 2 6-2. And then in game 3, it is a Marple Lebeda Gladiators 5-4 victory. And so that brings us to our semi-pro Keystone Finals. And so you have Propel MG, you have Marple Lebeda Gladiators. And so, just from stat lines and everything like that, and, previous matchups, I think Marple Lebeda Gladiators may have put in a lot of effort to get to the finals. And then you go up against Propel MG. You have 2 solid teams here in this conference, right? And Propel MG wins 2-0 in the series. They win 6-2 in game 1. They win 6-3 in game 2, right? In game 1, Propel had 5 goals in the first period. And Matt Morelli ends up with 3 goals and 2 assists. So maybe a little fatigue there in the first game after a 3-game series. But in game 2, Gladiators start off up 3-0. So everything's looking good, right? Propel MG comes back in the second period in notable goals by Chris Connor to start the period, right? And then you have Bryce Whitman with a power play goal. And then you have Matt Morelli again with eventual game winner. They go on, they put an empty net in 6-3. That's the series, right? So congrats to Propel MG on securing your spot in PIHA Finals in March in Colorado Springs. Now let's move on to some PIHA Minor, right? We're still in the Keystone Division, right? And so in semifinal number 1, you have the Rink Rat Iron Knights taking on the Steel City Shockwave. And so Shockwave end up taking this series 2-1, right? In game 1, Rink Rat Iron Knights come out 7-0 victory. Potentially, probably, everyone's probably like, damn, they're going to win this series after a game like that. No. So Shockwave come back, win 4-3 in game 2, and then win 3-2 in game 3, right? And so it's a hell of a series. I mean, you can't ask, besides game 1, you can't ask for a better series. 3 games, at least 2 close games, right? 1-goal games. Unfortunately, someone has to lose. So Steel City Shockwave on to the finals of PIHA Minor Keystone Division. In the second semifinal matchup, you have the Marple Beta Gladiators and you have the Susquehanna Scream. Now, I said that kind of weird, but you know what? I did it, and we're sticking with it, right? And the Gladiators come out of this in a 2-1 series victory. Game 1, Marple Gladiators win a 3-2 game. Game 2, the Scream win 5-3. And in game 3, the Gladiators overpowered the Scream and they win 6-2. So, now we have a matchup in the finals between the Marple Beta Gladiators and Steel City Shockwave. And the Gladiators take this series 2-0. They win game 1 4-1, and then game 2 7-1. Right. So in game 1, Dan Cicini has 2 goals. Garrett Dobbins. Wow, my notes are terrible. Garrett Dobbins has a goal, and Jacob Phelan has a goal. And for the Steel City Shockwave, Nathan Planey. Right. And so in game 2, starts off 1-0, a 1-0 start after the first. Gladiators then dominated the second with 6 more goals. Eventually, the Shockwave put one in the net, but it's not enough because they're down by 6, right? So congrats to the Marple Beta Gladiators for securing their spot in PIHA Finals in Colorado Springs. But the big matchup over the weekend, the PIHA Pro Eastern Division. Now, we already knew that the Suffolk Sting were waiting from the previous weekend for their finals matchup in the Eastern side. But boy, do we have a matchup between the Michigan Fury and the Pittsburgh Inferno, right? You have the 2v3 seed. Michigan Fury has looked damn good all season. I can't say much different for the Pittsburgh Inferno. 2 solid organizations. Both have plenty of depth, solid teams. And this one, as I predicted, went to 3 games. So the Inferno start off game 1, 4-0. Right? Now they have Michigan Fury on their heels. But the Michigan Fury come back in game 2 and win 3-0. So now, you have 2 shutouts in the first 2 games. Game 3 gets exciting, though. You have Michigan Fury are leading this game by 2 goals, right? The Pittsburgh Inferno go on and score 2 shorthanded goals, and then when that penalty expires, they come out of the box and they go down and score a 3rd goal. And then they play a defensive game and take the semi matchup number 2 to go on to the Eastern Pro Finals. But before we talk about that matchup, here's the clip to highlight just a damn good sequence in roller hockey.
Schultze. green, get your last shot, guys.
Now, after watching that, let's jump right into the Pro Eastern Finals in PIHA. Now, in this matchup, you have the Suffolk Sting. We know, listen, it's a damn good team. They have been what everyone else wants their organization to be, and they have been in the finals practically every year, right? Versus the Pittsburgh Inferno, who just pull off one of the craziest comebacks, right? And so for game one, Suffolk Sting win it 2-1. In game two, it seems like the excitement has kind of worn out. After a 3-game grueling set with lots of excitement, the Inferno flame out, and they lose game two 4-0. Right? In game one, it's a defensive battle. You have Max Halverson and Brett Jackson with goals for the Suffolk Sting, and you have Ryan Subaslay scoring a goal for the Inferno. Now, in game two, the Sting just dominate, right? You have Dan Healy with a goal, Brett Jackson with 2, PJ DiMartino with a goal, right? And so your eastern side of PIHA Pro, waiting for their opponent in the West, is the Suffolk Sting. Now, let me read you this really interesting stat because the Sting are looking for their 7th championship in 8 seasons. I'll repeat that again if you don't believe me what I just said. They are looking for their 7th championship in the Pro Division in 8 seasons. Now, we still got to wait for the Western side to finish up their regular season, but that's happening over the next week or two. And then the Western Conference playoffs are going to be played on March 7th, 8th, and 9th. And then the winner of that division will play a series against the Suffolk Sting. And we'll see who takes home the Pro Championship in Colorado Springs. Now, appreciate you all listening, watching, whatever platform you are doing this on. Just doing this out of my enjoyment. Give y'all who enjoy No Offsides, a little more content for the ride. So I appreciate that. Make sure you follow and like the video. I look forward to talking roller hockey next week. I'm Dan Dean. Peace out, guys.